Welcome to the Dallas Duo Podcast,
your weekly wellness coffee date.
We're friends in Dallas, always looking for the best ways to optimize our health
and have fun along the way.
Today, we're joined by Adriana Nestora and Teresa Dillon, the founders of The Color Edit, a brand where color theory meets personal image. Through color analysis and a signature beauty concierge service, Adriana and Teresa empower women to step into color with confidence. Just a few weeks ago, I experienced their services for myself and would recommend them to anyone who wants to update their look and feel amazing.
From workshops and events to private sessions and brand collaborations, they've created a unique platform that blends fashion, beauty, and personal expression. We can't wait to dive into their story, their expertise, and the color impact they're having. Welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's just begin with what inspired you to create The Color Edit.
We met through a mutual friend. We have the same hairstylist. We've known him for years and years. And when I started my business, Reluctantly Styled, of color analysis and styling, he said to me, "You've got to meet my friend, Adriana. What you're doing for closets, she does basically for makeup and skincare." And he said, she started this business just maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago before you. And I just think she'd be a great person to know and sounding board. I think you guys would connect. Just a few weeks after that, I had an opportunity to work a girls' night out party for color analysis for about 5 women. And I just thought, hey, color analysis and makeup would be really fun together. And I'm always looking for ways to just make my services more unique, right? So I just thought that'd be a fun added touch. And just reached out cold to Adriana and said, hey, we both know Robert and he thinks we would connect. And would you have any interest in working this party with me? And it just kind of started there. We met on site for the first time. And thank goodness it worked.
We instantly clicked because we have the same spirit when it comes to servicing our clients. We want to make sure that we're connecting and we're also giving that added value of helping them find what truly sings to them and not what everybody is trending or liking at the time. So we have that same connection with women and it just worked. It flowed so nicely. We had such a fun time.
Yeah, completely. It just kind of morphed into more and more and more from there.
We can relate to that. We each kind of have our own things and we come together and we work so well together. And when you find someone that you really mesh with, it really makes such a difference. How did your individual backgrounds come together to shape this brand? So share a little bit more about your expertise and what you do separately.
Yeah, sure. So what I do is I work in the same manner as a stylist would. Go to your house, see what you have in your drawer, see what's working, what's not. Whatever's not working, we will replace or eliminate. I have always been a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for 20 years. This has been a service that has been slowly growing as social media started confusing everybody. And as we get older, that's not something that we want to focus on. Just quieting the noise is hard because you have one friend saying one thing, one influencer saying the other, and everybody has their say in what they think is beautiful. And I feel like slowly people start losing what they want to look like because of what they are constantly looking at on social media. So it started growing and it just really mimicked the same style of working as a stylist. I also think that we understand each other because we have to give that same level of service to everybody. And it just fit in perfectly with the color analysis because color just plays a huge part in makeup. Foundation, concealer, obviously, you need to find your right tones, but cheek colors, eye colors, everything that is color oriented, that has more color and pigment, lips, cheeks, and eyes play a huge role. And just blending the style, like clothing with makeup is so important. So just having Teresa tell somebody, these are your colors, and then just handing them over to me, it's a dream because it cuts out so much of the work.
It's very organic and it's very, very much alive. As you could see, Andrea, when we worked with you can see how it just goes hand in hand. It's like a happy little couple. So to approach it this way holistically is really fun for us. And it's really empowering for the women because they come away with a lot of knowledge and clarity.
It is really fun to see, like, what am I already doing that is working well, but then what can I add to really also enhance my features and my clothing styles that I'm choosing and how all of it fits together.
Not about what anyone's doing wrong. It's about what can we do better or what can we just tweak and improve upon. And it's just this really holistic approach that anybody can get something out of.
Is that the gap that you really saw in that space? Is that noise, like that trend noise, or maybe like the lack of individuality?
I would say the main gap that I noticed is the lack of expertise. So we wanted to come together as two experts in our own individual fields and bring it together in one shop. And that's what I don't think I have seen personally. A professional color analyst and stylist and a professional makeup artist and esthetician to bring these worlds together so you could really learn head to toe how everything aligns and is cohesive in the long run.
Andrea did your program, but I've done a color analysis, but there wasn't a beauty piece included. And so it's actually taken me a lot of time to figure out. I mean, like they told me, like these colors, but it's still not individualized, right? So, like the
Right,
actual
because
application of it has been slow.
Correct.
And you
That's
have to
the
figure that
problem.
part out yourself,
Yeah.
which is daunting
Yes.
walking into Credo or
Correct.
Sephora
Yeah.
or
Yes.
wherever you're going to shop.
Yes.
So
And
now what? Now what question?
when Teresa gives me that result and hands it over to me, it's already that confidence that the client already knows. So now my job is just to implement that color into technique. And it just takes away from that client thinking, but is the makeup artist telling me these are the right colors because she likes them? Or is it because, no, I have somebody backing me up that these are your colors. Now I'm just going to show you the technique. It's just so easy. And it's just takes away a lot of uncertainty from the clients. Like you said, you were left with just the colors. Now what are you going to do with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot from clients. I've heard that many times.
Well, and like value and efficiency. Like I just think like how many
Oh my
times I've
gosh.
bought something now, looking back now that I've had my colors and I think like 4 years ago or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, I spent so much money on things that were actually like pulling away from
Yeah.
my look or like actually making me look like worse or maybe just not as like authentically myself. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known. It would
Yeah.
have saved me a lot of like time and money and I don't know,
Yeah.
better photos maybe.
Yeah. Well, and that was one of my favorite parts of what you guys came in and did because I actually like shopping for makeup, but I hate walking away with like $200, $300 worth of stuff and then get home and I realize once I'm in front of my own light in front of the window or whatever that none of it really works or that the tech, I don't really know the technique or I don't like the formula once I actually use it. So,
You are really
yeah,
just
so you guys taking the guesswork out of it.
Yeah, that's what it does. That you just nailed it there. It is just that clarity. Some of the myths is that this is limiting. Color analysis can be limiting, just telling you what you can wear, what you can't wear. And it's not like that at all. It's actually giving you a lot of freedom and a roadmap.
One of the biggest things for me is I remember Whitney telling me because
To do it.
she had such a great experience and she was like, you should do it. You should do it. And I wear a lot of black, a lot of neutral. So I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then someone tell me that like, I can't wear black. I just don't want to do that. But intrigued at the same time, as far as actually getting it done. I'm so glad I did because black is one of my colors, but there's also so much more I can work with. Yeah, Whitney had been nudging me over the last few years to get it
Good
done.
job, Whitney.
yes.
Well,
and
it's interesting. I think in Dallas, there's just like a big pressure around like aesthetically, just like being your best and showing up. And I always felt that. But when I started working in media, it was just really noticeable to me. Why is the station saying to wear bold colors? Why are they saying to stay in like dual tones? And then I was like, what if those aren't the colors that work best for me? And why is some of the shows I look really washed out, but other ones I don't? And the lighting's the same. Like
you had
what
the
is
aha
it that
moment.
I have control over? And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually so much easier than I realized. And I work really well with like a formula. So I literally have the colors like saved as my background on my phone. And I'm like, hey, look, like this actually helps me. And it feels like such a low lift. I know
Constantly.
now I would never wear certain colors because it just is so obviously different.
Not your
for
color.
me.
You just cannot unsee it. It's remarkable. It really, truly makes a big impact.
Now, when I watch The Bachelor, I'm like, oh, she hasn't done her colors. Because like they'll show up in like a bright red dress.
Like, that's not your color.
I was really grateful that black was one of Andrea's colors. Thank
Me
goodness.
too.
Yes.
I would have been nervous as a stylist if it wasn't, because
I kind of
she
knew
would
it
have
was
been
going to
like
be.
in her nudist era.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because the analysis, we did it in my closet. So there was no line about what is in my closet because she could see it all around us.
Yes. Yeah. High pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Black is not one of my colors.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, here
No,
we go.
I wouldn't imagine so, but that's a whole other conversation. I love talking about the color black and what else we can do.
Yes.
Because that's
No.
always everyone's
The
first question.
alternative.
Always, can I wear black?
We've gotten a little ahead of ourselves. Can y'all explain what is color analysis and why is it so impactful?
So to put it just in really simple terms, it's color theory for your face and clothes. If you learn in art class, maybe in high school, color theory is just how colors are reacting to each other. Color reacts to your natural undertones as well. So it's really just studying your skin and how it's reacting to different shades, how it's reacting to warm shades, cool shades, and neutral shades. And it's to determine what colors you should probably steer away from if you don't want to look like you're, sickly or haven't gotten any rest, and what colors would be the most wow, impactful colors that make you look really bright and vibrant and
Mhm.
and young and well rested, which is what we all want, right? Especially as
It
women,
just
as we're
smooths out the
aging.
skin.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does so much good. I could go on and on, but it's very simply just the science of color with your undertone and how it reacts, and to determine your very best colors. You can look your best.
Did you both have really big transformations yourself with color theory?
Adriana, have you?
I've always been a muted person. I've never been a loud in color. Like if I do one loud color, it's, usually a pink, and it most of the time has been in my color palette. But what's been so much better for me is when I shop or when I'm thinking of what to wear, I'm more conscious about what I put close to my face, first of all, but also just picking out the clothes. So if one shirt comes in 3 colors, I know what color I'm gonna be getting. It's just easier to shop. But yeah, it was a really eye opener as to why it was making me feel the way it was making me feel. I was very perceptive because I work with color. So I knew inside, but I didn't know the why. And that why was very eye opening.
It was fun to do Adriana's colors. She wasn't sure just from her experience because she
I'm
has
so
such olive
olive.
skin. And
Mhm.
oftentimes women that have olive skin assume that they're warm because olive is warm. And olive, it's a very unique situation because probably 60% of the time, women that have olive skin, it's almost like double warmth just creates a mess. So it's like if you have really olive skin, you put warm clothes near your face, your skin just gets ticked and it's
Mhm.
almost sickly. Yeah, so it kind of does the opposite effect, which is really interesting. Not all the time, but most of the time. Same with Andrea. You've got olive skin and it did not like those warm colors.
Yeah. There were
So yeah,
certain colors. It turned me green too. I was like, whoa, it
yes.
looks like I think I haven't slept in a week.
And then for me, I grew up with this. My mom did it my entire life. So I knew my colors when I was like first grade. But I have gone through so many stages in my life where, I rebelled against being a summer. And I will still to this day tell everybody I'm a fake winter because I dye my hair darker where I kind of gravitate naturally towards the bolder colors because I think of my personality is just bolder. But, free will, to each his own. It's still in my family. So I know what colors look really bad and stay away from, but there are a lot of choices.
Are there any other myths about color analysis or styling that you think you'd like to clear up?
Yes. Another myth about color analysis is checking your veins. There's a lot. Like just assuming if you have a certain color of eyes or a certain hair color, you have to fall into certain categories. No, that's not always the case. There's no hard line there. There's flags, it's definitely indicators oftentimes, and I can make educated guesses, but I've been surprised so many times. You really never know how the skin's going to react to colors. And then another one is black is the best, most slimming default color and looks good on everybody, and that's definitely not the case.
So, is there one thing that, in your opinion, we all need to remove from our closet in 2025?
Is that a loaded question?
That's a loaded question for Teresa.
Yeah, the amount of things that I've been removing. closets this year. The first thing that pops into my head and makes me chuckle is ruffles. I'm sorry, ladies, the
Yeah.
ruffles. Ruffles have had their moment, and I like some ruffle. Some ruffle is so cute and pretty. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-ruffle, but the overdose of ruffles all over your arms and neck, where it is not doing you any favors.
I love that someone can work with you and do their color analysis, and then they can take it a step further and have you come in and do either like a wardrobe refresh or an edit. Tell us a little bit about the different services that you have beyond the color analysis.
I'm glad you asked that because that's not even my primary business. That's always been an added service as a cherry on top because it does align so nicely into what I do with styling and closet editing. It just is such a fun, popular service that it just has taken on a life of its own, which is awesome. I love it. I wouldn't change a thing, but it's typically part of the style journey. So you do the color analysis first, and then I do a full closet edit because then it gives us a lot of clarity and direction of what we should edit and why. And then it also gives you a lot of direction and clarity for shopping. When you know what gaps you have based on the edit, then you can have a really clear plan for shopping. It's color analysis, closet edit, personal shopping, video shoots, photo shoots. It's kind of everything in
Endless.
between. Yeah.
That's so
Whatever you
fun.
need.
Adriana, why do you think makeup is such a personal, impactful thing? Oh, how can makeup choices further enhance someone's personal image?
So makeup is so personal. Every woman needs some type of makeup in their vanity. Every woman knows that they do. Society has told us. I kind of wish it would be different, but that's the norm and that's what we do. But not every woman needs the same amount. Some women can't carry that amount of makeup, a lot of makeup. Some women are just so beautiful on the more natural side. Just enhancing for me, I always start with the minimal and then working from there because sometimes they're so stuck on their, I'm going to put a lot of makeup on and this is what I'm used to and this is what I'm used to, like a heavier coverage, but their skin might be happier and more beautiful, more radiant, and a natural just concealer, some type of balm. So I always make sure that the client sees themselves in a different light so they can choose more wisely. I'm giving them options. So it's very personal because of their likes and dislikes, but also their skin and their face and their obviously different skin tones, colors, eye shape, cheek shapes, all of that. So it plays a role in how I decide and how I decide to present it to them as well.
And I would say,
Mhm.
Adriana, that the stage of life you're in plays such a role as well. And you're so good at seeing women through different stages of life. And that's something I
Huge.
can
Thank you.
personally do. My face and the way I would wear makeup and my choices is so different now, even just 5 years ago, because in my 40s and, getting up there, mid 40s, it changes every day. Your skin is changing
Yes.
so quickly, and it's really hard to keep up with. It's hard to know what to do, and it can be actually very sad and overwhelming for
This
us
is the
women.
time of our lives, 30 plus, 35 plus, that our hormones are starting to go a little crazy. Our skin takes so much of that. And so our skin thins out, loses a lot of fat. So we start hollowing, and contour is not the best choice for a hollowing face. So having to remove some steps instead of adding them, that just makes a big difference. Removing the contour that they've been using since they were in their 20s. But back to the skin and the changes of the skin, as we lose fat, we start all that discoloration and all the sun damage starts popping up. And the same foundation color that we were using in the past is not going to be the same one. We have to kind of fight with that discoloration and the color of their skin. So we have to meet halfway. So all those little details just play a big role in how our makeup bag just evolves as we age. We need to use more hydrating
that was-
products.
Yeah, less is more, right? You've helped
Less
me
is more.
tremendously. I always tell
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things that prompted me in connecting with you, Adriana, is that I'm 45 and I just started to feel like I just needed an update. I needed a refresh with techniques, with different products, and didn't really know where to start. My daughter and I always go shopping for makeup together, but what she's wearing at 22 is not what I need to be wearing at 45, and her techniques are different than mine. So I was just feeling a little lost in that area. So
Confused.
I can really speak to that. Different phases in your life, you need different things.
You're stuck
That
and
it
you're stuck in with your product, like the same bronzer you've been using for years and just changing that thing.
or your foundation. Like for me specifically, you were like, you don't need this foundation anymore. This isn't the thing right now. This was the thing for you maybe 10 years ago, but right now it is not doing you any favors. It was such a small tweak that I didn't know that's what was wrong or making me feel uncomfortable in my skin. Making that little tweak, I swear it changed my confidence so drastically. And I think that a lot of women don't even understand that you do have to make some changes just in every phase of life.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen
it's
that video where like there's like a guy putting on like a full face of makeup and it's like 1990 or whatever. And there's somebody
Oh,
from like
no.
2020 and she's like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. And he's just like dotting it instead. It's like this much more like minimalist approach.
Yes.
But it makes
Yeah.
me laugh because I feel like there has been this like embrace of it not being a one size fits all. I got an email the other day for like mature skin makeup and I was like offended, but also people are not just doing the same thing for their entire life. And that
Well, what
if you want full makeup, you can, but maybe you don't want a full face of makeup all the time. And I feel like that was the only go to. Like I had Max Studio Effects and it was like, that's what you wear every day,
Right.
regardless of if it's like a play date or, a media segment.
Right. Every company was just targeting everybody. And now we get that option to where companies, beauty brands have their niche and they're including us because they understand that those changes in life and skin and all the other things that are happening. And our skin, because it becomes thinner, we need more balmy, more hydrating things that just are going to bounce light better. But we're finally getting a little recognition. So I'm excited to see that.
Adriana, what transformations have you seen when clients embrace their new routines and their new products that you recommend?
They just tell me they don't have to think about their makeup. Everyone needs to get ready in the morning and scrambling, like going through your drawer and figuring out what we're going to wear on the face can be a little stressful. And then you have to go from school to a fancy event and you're hoping your makeup is going to stay and look presentable in both scenarios. And just them knowing that they're confident enough to go anywhere and know that their makeup isn't going to look like it's running or their skin isn't going to look dry, and they don't have to think about it is a peace of mind. And I hear that all the time. It just makes such a difference in the morning, takes away that stress and that guessing if it's going to wear well. So it makes me feel really good.
That's awesome.
It should.
Is there one major product that you feel, or maybe even technique that you feel like you implement with everybody that really makes a difference, really elevates their routine?
Yes. Stippling instead of swiping. That is huge in everything. Eyeshadow, concealer, foundation, because the swiping, again, because our skin is aging and it's thinning, it's easier to get creases. So especially in the under eye area. So if we swipe a brush, we might get those little lines. So we're not getting an even application. Stippling, you're almost pixelating, I like to call it. And that blurs, and you're also getting in between these thin little expression lines that we have around the eyes, around the nose. So just how you hold the brush and how you stipple instead of swipe and the pressure that is applied makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah, that was a big part of our lesson yesterday. I was definitely swiping more. So just to learn that little tweak, I think will make a big difference.
Yeah.
That's a new word.
Stippling.
I feel like my
Stippling.
one makeup
Or-
lesson, I've actually gone to two, and one was horrible. I left with like stripper makeup, like eyes.
It
Like
was a lesson?
it was like a
Little-
date night look at
Okay.
Sephora. that they offered. There was
Huh.
4 people there. I definitely failed. It was, like, so bold, and it was not, like, my colors. It was, like, all black and, like, very heavy. I was, like, crying laughing when I left. I was like, "I can't go out
See,
in
that's
public."
the
Like,
that's the
that was
thing.
the goal.
Services like that don't meet clients halfway. It's what
Yeah.
the makeup artist and the brand sees as what they're going to offer that day, or like if it's a date night look, everyone gets the same look. And that to me is just, how can you do that exact same look on someone that's blonde and someone that has darker skin?
And I also love how you say less is more. I love that yesterday you showed up to my house and you had a curated selection of products. And then you just went through showing me, okay, what's the minimal? And then we build upon that. And it wasn't 200 different products, it was a curated set of things that I can use in that felt like very versatile. I love the formulas. Everything that we used worked together really well.
What I tell people all the time about Adriana, and one of the things I love so much about her style and professionalism as a makeup artist is she will, like you said, start at a very natural state. And that's kind of her default mode anyway. She likes everyone to just show their natural beauty, and then you
I
can build
do.
upon like a more dramatic look. And I love it about her. It's just not intimidating. It's just more of an education. And I think that that's such a valuable
Thank you.
service.
Private sessions and workshops are two very different things, but walk us through what your process is when you're working together with clients in those types of settings.
It starts with color analysis, and we do full sessions or mini sessions, just depending on if you want, one-on-one or a party with several people. So if this was one-on-one, it would be a full color analysis to determine your undertone and your very best palette of colors. And then you would go with Adriana and you can explain what you do.
And then I take that very valuable information and I translate it into makeup. I make sure that their colors that they're using, some people like really pink blush, yet their eyeshadow is really warm. And I just find those disconnects. Some people are doing beautiful, beautiful makeup and they have beautiful products. It's just that disconnect that and those little things that we can polish with techniques and products and all the things. I have an intake form that I use for all my clients, and I start with the foundation, which is skincare. I make sure that the skincare is right. Your skin is going to lose hydration in areas and more than others, and that's where you're going to have patches and like patchiness. So I make sure that they understand the foundation is the skincare and make sure that they have the right skincare for their skin. I'm also an esthetician. I don't work as an esthetician, but I did get my license. So I feel like I can give them that little bit of extra information with confidence and letting them know you don't need the whole line of all the ingredients. You need a good cleanser, a good moisturizer, a good SPF. I like a vitamin C and I like some type of retinol at night. And I think doing those, 5 things and starting with that, it changes everything. Sometimes removing some skincare products that I find that they have so many like hydrating ingredients in there and their skin is looking a little textured because it has too much hydration and nowhere to go. Removing a little bit of hydration. And once we get that right and they understand, and then I'll move on to all the makeup and all the fun part. I will send them a guide. It depends on the service, but if it's a mini session, I will send them a board of shoppable links. And if it is a full session, I will send them a guide to everything that we spoke about and how to incorporate everything. So, we're in the session and I'm doing all the heavy work and, like really and then they forget it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want them to lose that. So I make sure that everything's on paper. They can reference it later. They know what product with what brush and what steps to take and their skin for every day and their skin for a little more elevated. I make sure that it's all there so they can reference. And also they always have me on, email, text, all the goods.
Yes, they come away with the whole holistic, they know their palette for their makeup and their clothes, and they come away with some style tips, makeup tips, and with a lot of newfound knowledge and direction.
And confidence.
The confidence is so important.
Confidence is the foundation of it.
Yeah. And it's so empowering too. going
really
through
is.
something like this.
It
Yeah.
really is. And that
And
is
it's just not me
you
saying it. The fact that there's two of us together and we bounce so many
Mhm.
ideas off of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
fun experience for sure.
This has been a really like popular and encouraging thing for me as my patients. A lot of times I'm working with them and their bodies change working together with a dietitian. And so oftentimes like they don't want to change their wardrobe or they're nervous and they're kind of stuck in old habits. But it's really interesting to me. One of my favorite mentors has a stylist that she works with closely for her patients because she's like, you have a different body now and in different life stages, and it makes a huge difference in confidence. Like my thing is always like health confidence, but again, like in their bodies, in their closets, that they feel safe and that they feel comfortable. Was talking to a mom this morning about like postpartum, and I'm like, your body changes like 4 times. So you're like, don't buy anything yet. But like, even myself, I found myself like renting for years because I was like, I'm not ready to buy yet. I feel like everything's changing. And then it does kind of take a hit to your confidence because even if you're putting clothes on that are like the right color, like the fit and everything
It's off.
isn't there. And I feel like there's such a big window of opportunity for women to get more into this space and utilize that. Like, I know how much it helped my confidence of just knowing someone saying, like, this is best for your body. These colors are going to help amplify you, like illuminate you. And I feel like I don't like the days that I don't wear like any makeup, but I put on a shirt that's like one of my best colors. People are so much more likely to say like, "Oh wow, I love that." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" It's easier, it's smarter than maybe harder.
It's very attainable and approachable. Some people think that having a makeup artist or a stylist is not for them or it's for fancy people. And that's not necessarily the case. Really, my favorite thing is to just work with everyday women that need a little confidence boost because it is such a huge confidence boost.
Like you
And the
said,
majority of my clients, regular women that have lost a lot of weight recently or postpartum or just post COVID and forgot how to get dressed. And it doesn't take a lot. If I can give you just a few little tweaks and formulas to get dressed in the morning, you add that with an amazing color near your face and boom, you feel like you'll get compliments and you're going to feel like a
I
million
feel
bucks.
like it's that mind body connection. Yes, you can feel great and you can feel better. But if you're not feeling connected to that body that now has been changing, and
Yeah.
working with us, I feel like we are that liaison that helps that mind body connection kind of come back together. And it has nothing to do with overdoing anything. We're not there to make you be the most stylish person in the PTA. But we're there to help you feel like you're the most confident person. And that's such a
Right.
difference.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to find your style. I'm not trying to put anything on you or my style on you or certain labels on you. I'm there to help you rediscover who you are. And once we find it, it is so powerful.
For someone who always leans on neutrals, what is the first step to adding more color, whether it's in your wardrobe or with your makeup?
Lipstick.
Lipstick's the first thing I would do, or a fun accessory. It's belts, scarf, hat. For me, I'm a hat fanatic. It is my favorite
You
accessory.
are.
So I could wear all black or all taupe or whatever it is and just throw a cool hat on. Add some personality and fun and color to your outfit or just your whole entire holistic look that doesn't have to be a big change.
I'm the reverse. So, like, I celebrated like Floral Friday every time I was in clinic. Like, the louder, the brighter the colors, the better. And I really avoided neutrals for a long time because they felt boring to me or drab. Or like the days that I was wearing them, I was just like less happy. So, advice on those of us that are like color and pattern crazed, like how to blend them, maybe both for like a better happy medium.
I'm like kind of a more is more kind of but there are definitely formulas and ways to wear a lot of color and a lot of pattern um, in a really smart way. So the color analysis, well, the one that I do, we do get into what patterns are best for your intensity and depth of coloring. And that really helps know, like, it just gives you that direction of what patterns are just right for you versus overwhelming. Because the whole point is when you walk into the room, we want to see your face. We wouldn't want to just say, oh, that outfit is wild. We want to see you and say, "Oh my gosh, Whitney, you look amazing. What are you doing?"
Mhm.
So we want you to wear the clothes and the colors and the makeup, not the other way around. Colors and pattern and mixing them all together, that is my jam. You're speaking my language now.
There, would you say confidence colors that work well for almost anyone in makeup or in clothing?
For confidence colors, for lipsticks, it's huge. Finding your good everyday lipstick that you can put on with nothing else on your skin and just makes your skin looks perfect is a game changer. And everybody has their own intensity, their own colors, obviously, but the color intensity as well, and likes and dislikes. Some people like bold lips on a daily basis, others don't. But I love using lipsticks as accessories. That's my jam. So you have a cool shirt with some fun colors, grab that bright color and pop it on your lips. And that is when the color doesn't really have to be so much in your color palette because you're using it as an accessory. So that's how I love using color.
Berries, berry tones and red tones, everybody can pull off
Some type.
some version of berry or it is helpful to find what is best for you. For me, for clothes, I would say like a peacock is kind of a universal color that looks, I have found amazing on almost everybody because peacock, there's so many different variations. There's green heavy peacocks and blue heavy peacocks, but that teal, that deep teal is incredibly universal and looks really pretty on so many
Those
people.
are all those jewel tones they tell you to wear on TV. That's like what I'm thinking of. I'm like, oh, I know all those colors.
Like, I know those.
So many different hues and tones of that color, and it's pretty universal. If there's any universal colors, that's one of them. And then true red is it is a pretty neutral color, so a lot of people can get away with true red, but just you have to make sure that it actually is true, or orange leaning or blue leaning. Yeah, good, like navy, a lot of people can pull that off too. Yeah.
Well, and I like what you said about the lip thing, and I know that there's lots of ways you guys work with different brands and companies. I love that you guys did that event last night at the Cause Bar. It was a lip event. Maybe tell us, maybe tell us a little bit about that. I was bummed I couldn't make it, and it sounded really fun.
Those that showed up that have not been color analyzed by me, they got like a little Cliff's Notes on undertone. So I put them in my sheets with mirror and drapes. And I just did some metallics, a gold metallic and a silver metallic, which is a really, really usually great, easy indicator for yourself. You could do this at home and see which one you look brighter and which one makes you look sallow or adds yellow cast to your skin. So giving them that direction, like, okay, this isn't a full decisive color analysis, but based on this really gold tone and this really silver tone, we can see where you're leaning, what your skin is liking. Then I would okay, Adriana, she looks better in the silver, better in the gold, and then they would get some direction of
We'll find
what kind of lipsticks. So it was really fun.
So many, different types of companies that you guys can work with, or individuals.
Applications are like endless.
So many applications.
We have tweaked our services to just accommodate all these different companies because everybody has a different approach. Like Teresa was saying, the people that work in design, they know color, but do they know color on them? So it's cool to see that. But then there's other companies like Sewell that we've worked with, and even the guys got color analyzed.
That's so funny.
So it was
that.
just, it has nothing to do with color, but it's just so fun and interesting. And it's just, yeah.
That was employee appreciation. So we've done where it's for employees as a nice gift, or it's for clients as a nice gift. So many different iterations of our workshop and our one-on-one.
And then, of course, the girl parties, which are so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for just sharing, each of your expertise and what you work on separately and together. It was so fun to learn about and to work with you personally, of course. We like to finish the episode with some fun rapid fire questions. So we'll go ahead and do those now. What is your favorite color to wear right now?
Navy.
Burgundy.
Ooh,
love it.
What about your dream brand collab?
Sicily.
Let's take one.
Oh, that would be awesome. Wow. Very cool. That could be a goal for next year.
It is. Get out into the universe now.
Yeah.
Yes. Your favorite coffee shop and or
My order is always matcha latte coconut milk or oat milk, and that's it. Yeah.
I'm not a big buy coffee outside my home person anymore. But if I do treat myself, it's that brown sugar oat milk latte thing at Starbucks I really like. That's my treat.
Fun. What is your go-to Dallas spot for inspiration?
This one's hard for me, and throw out Highland Park Village is very fun for me to just kind of wander and explore. It's not necessarily my go-to for shopping or even for clients or my cup of tea all the time, but I think it is inspiring and it's pretty and fun
Mhm.
to just walk around and look at. So
Yeah.
that's fun for me.
Yeah.
I was going to say North Park, and not so much because of the shopping so much. I mean, you get a little bit of everything there, including the art and the flowers and the outdoor space. I can take my kids and they can run
Mhm.
around and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the convenience of it. It's just so nice. You have everything. We're so lucky to live in Dallas. Everything at our
Yeah,
fingertips.
literally everything. What's your style icon or muse?
Gwen Stefani has always been
That's
my girl crush since she seen. But I also for style icon, I really, really love and admire Tracy Ellis Ross because she is fearless and she's empowering and she's bold and she's a badass.
I don't have one. I think I like a lot of women for different reasons. Like I love a Meryl Streep. I love a Julia Roberts and I love a Gwen Stefani. But yeah, I think I grab a little bit of everybody. Julia Roberts, she's so natural and so confident and yeah, a little bit of everything from everyone.
Well, we will wrap up with 3 words to describe your personal style.
I'll say modern, approachable, and playful and irreverent.
I would say soft, classic, and with a little bit of edge. Is edge a good
That's
word?
so fun.
Mhm.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Good balance between the two.
Yes,
Mhm.
good balance. Well, so nice again to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
And
I'm excited that we've elaborated on this. I think it's something that a lot of people are interested in. And so I think it's so good to know that there's a local option and that
yes,
people can pursue.
really quickly, please tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. It's the reluctant_influencer or LinkedIn, Teresa Dillon, or Instagram. Together we are the Color Edit Co.
You can find me on Instagram at Adriana R. Nestora. You can email me or go on my website, adriananestora.com. Yeah, and the Color Edit. We're both on we both answer the messages. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
both
Yeah, we
there.
will put all those links in the show notes. So
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're excited. Thank
you
y'all so much for coming
Thank you
today.
for your time. Yeah.